Welcome to the presentation related to Michigan's proposed supports to special populations of students under the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. At the end of the presentation, you'll be directed to a brief survey where you can respond to a few key questions we will ask throughout the presentation. Districts are required to provide supports for special populations of students such as English learners, immigrants, homeless, migratory children, neglected, and delinquent youth. Districts are required to have measurable objectives and strategies that address each group's unique needs. These needs must be assessed as part of the district's comprehensive needs assessment. Districts are also required to provide to students in these special populations equitable access to Title I, Part 1 funding and supports, and increase their access to early childhood programs. The proposed strategic supports are intended to influence the academic achievement of students in these special populations, improve their teachers' preparation and effectiveness, and transition them successfully to careers, college, and increase engagement by their parents, family, and community. The Michigan Department of Education, or MDE, along with intermediate school districts, also known as ISDs, will offer professional development, technical assistance, and support in how to engage in continuous improvement of local plans and implement effective interventions and instructional supports and carry out parent outreach initiatives. Within local ESSA plans, districts are expected to incorporate evidence-based, effective instructional practices for English learners and implement their plans with fidelities. Local plans need to be evaluated annually to determine their impact on English learners' achievement. The MDE will provide supports if such plans do not meet measurable objectives. The MDE will also identify and disseminate successful parent, family literacy, or ESL services and outreach efforts in collaboration with workforce development agencies, colleges and universities, and community-based organizations. The MDE will provide state programming to support schools and districts in a number of ways, including student identification, student services, and reporting in the MSDS. The MDE will continue to provide training of trainers annually to approximately 20 teachers on evidence-based academic language and literacy to ELs using Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol, or SIOP. This will help build capacity among teachers of English learners and their administrators. State programming will also ensure that EL teachers, paraprofessionals, and principals receive necessary supports annually while pursuing pre-service education, in-service development, and endorsements in English as a second language or bilingual education, including participation in the National Professional Development Grants. The MDE will continue to identify and share instructional designs that are effective in improving outcomes for English learners and immigrant students. Finally, the MDE will train local district personnel on the revised Common Entrance and Exit Protocol for EL students once students with disabilities have appropriate alternate assessments. That raises two questions for you to try to answer. How strongly do you agree or disagree with these proposed supports, and why? And what other supports do you recommend be provided, and why? You'll have an opportunity to answer these questions through a survey link at the end of this presentation. Title I, Part C serves eligible migratory children aged birth to 21. Michigan's Migrant Education Program, or MEP, is unique from other federal and state programs in that it is a state-led with active sub-grantees that coordinate with the MDE's migrant education staff, with each other, and with community agencies, as well as with other states' migrant education programs. The activities required by federal law did not change under ESSA. They are to provide guidance and technical assistance regarding migrant child identification, recruitment, and reporting efforts, to provide technical assistance to migrant education programs regarding the implementation of the Migrant State Service Delivery Plan and the instructional best practices tied to the federal 7 areas of concern, and to support coordinated services for eligible migrant children and youth within the school district, within the Migrant Consortium, and through stakeholder partnerships with other local MEPs and other migrant service agencies, and to support activities of the State Migrant Parent Leadership Steering Team Outreach and Advisory. Our questions are, how strongly do you agree or disagree with these supports, and why? And what other supports do you recommend be provided, and why? Local ESSA plans must also describe activities to support students who are determined to be neglected or delinquent. Local districts or facilities will be expected to describe how their programs will include in the program delivery an interdisciplinary approach, common assessments, and data analysis. Districts and facilities will also need to show how diverse special education services are strengthened through co-teaching between special education and general education. Local districts and facilities will be expected to describe how they will strengthen alignment and partnership with job providers, community colleges, and universities to assure a prepared and quality future workforce, as well as informed and responsible citizens. Districts and facilities will need to create a transition plan for youth to career opportunities, social and psychological services, alternate diplomas, and more to ensure successful transition to society. Finally, districts and facilities will need to engage parents and community where possible. Again, the MDE proposes to provide technical assistance in writing quality local plans and budgets that align with the state plan and are included within the state consolidation plan. Please let us know in the survey that follows your level of agreement with these supports and comment on why. What other supports would you recommend be provided to neglected or delinquent youth? Title IX in ESSA provides funding to support homeless children and youth. Under ESSA, districts and schools must now maintain the school of origin for eligible students, unless it's not in a child's best interest to attend there. They must also transport eligible preschoolers to their schools of origin, unless it is not in the child's best interest. The MDE proposes to train liaisons for the McKinney-Vento, or MV, grant program to determine eligibility of families and their students for HUD or MSHDA housing services, removal of barriers to enrollment in schools, and participation in academic support and extracurricular activities for MV students. ESSA describes a broader list of groups to be trained by local districts' McKinney-Vento liaisons. That list includes school administrators, principals, and other school leaders, as well as teachers, special education and specialized instructional support personnel, enrollment personnel, attendance officers, early education personnel, child welfare, social service, law enforcement, mental health, and domestic violence agencies, and housing and child care providers. The MDE will support local districts while they coordinate homeless education with Title I program staff with regards to services and supports to eligible students. ESSA also places broader emphasis on removing barriers for homeless children and youth to such supports as credit transfers and partial credit from prior schools, participation in additional academic and extracurricular activities, and broader flexibility for enrollment application deadlines. The MDE will provide technical assistance on the Title IA homeless reservation beginning in 2017-18 for all local schools that receive Title I funds, whether or not all schools are school-wide Title I. This reservation must be based on the total amount of Title I funding prior to any other expenditures or set-asides. Our questions are, how strongly do you agree or disagree with these proposed supports to homeless children and youth, and why? What other supports would you recommend be provided? We encourage you to add your voice by visiting www.mi.gov/ESSA to respond to these questions. And to learn more and provide feedback about all current ESSA plan recommendations, you'll find a variety of ways to offer your feedback. Thank you.